Hi, this is Peter with RL Property Management. I'm here with my business partner, Adam Rich. We're going to show you today how to analyze a potential investment property. We're here at a customer's property of ours. We're going to use this as an example. Today we're going to show you how to walk through the property and what key items you should be looking for as you're analyzing a potential single-family investment. So we're going to show you some of our experiences managing hundreds of units here in Columbus in terms of exactly what are the pitfalls and things you need to be looking out for. So we're going to go in the front door in here and get started. Alright guys, we're going to walk in the front door here and take a little tour of this home, see what we can see through the eyes of a potential investor. So I think we'll sort of follow the left wall through the property as we go. So Adam, anything that jumps out to you here in this little living dining room area?
The only thing is the carpet is a bit unsightly. You might have issues with potential tenants. Not like in the carpet.
Alright.
The windows are good. They're newer vinyl. So it's a good feature to have. Prospective tenants look at that sort of thing.
Yeah, we like to always check that the windows operate too. Make sure they open and close easily.
The housing code in Columbus, Ohio requires screens in windows. So that's something to keep an eye on too, as those screens can add up in cost.
So the bedrooms, not a whole lot to look for in here.
I would take a look at this carpet. It's got a lot of staining, so it's pretty close to the end of its useful life. May or may not be cleanable. We always like to check that the doors open and close and latch properly. This one seems to be in good shape.
What we're looking at here is out one of the bedroom windows. Doesn't look too great. Prospective residents are going to do this same walkthrough and they're going to see what looks to be an abandoned junkyard. So something to be aware of, not just the crime in the neighborhood, but within your immediate vicinity, the homes to the left and right, in front and behind you. How does that look for a potential tenant? Alright, we're here in the next bedroom. A few things to note here. One is, whenever you see a shortcut taken like this, someone installed a door or possibly shaved it down and didn't paint it, that should make you question the quality of the rest of the repairs done in the home. Just sort of a telltale sign that someone was either cheaping out or really not doing things the way they should. Also on the ceiling here, I don't know if you can see it too well on the camera, but there's evidence of roach waste all over the ceiling here. So prospective residents, they may know to look for those things, as well as roaches often revisit the same site. There could be a problem emanating from the neighbors, so keep that in mind as well.
Alright, we're going to take a look at the bathroom now. This is the main hall full bath. A couple things we notice in here. The finishes, the flooring, the vanity, the toilet, the medicine cabinet, the light fixture, everything's old and dated, so prospective tenants are going to expect something a little bit more modern. Whenever we look in a bathroom, we like to check that all the fixtures are working properly. So we'll run the sink faucet, we'll check below to make sure that the plumbing looks okay and that there's no leaks. We'll flush the toilet and make sure that the toilet isn't running and make sure that it's flushing properly. And then we'll take a look at the shower stall and we'll make sure that, this is very common problems, the shower head will be loose from the wall because they didn't mount the piping properly. This one seems to be in good order. We'll check the valves to make sure that the valves are secured to the wall and that they turn on and off properly. Check to make sure the tub spout's secure to the wall. One major thing to notice about this tub stall is that the ceiling here is very short. So if I were to step in the tub, I would have to duck while taking a shower. And finally in this bathroom, you can notice on the walls, the paint has clearly been subject to moisture changes. So we would question whether this exhaust fan built into this light is actually pulling air from the bathroom.
Alright, we're here in the kitchen. There's lots to look at in the kitchen. It's going to give you a clue into the plumbing system, which is obviously an important component of a rental property. So let's get started.
So we'll open and close all the cabinet doors, make sure that the hinges are tight and the knobs are tight. We'll check to make sure that all the shelving is proper, and just generally how clean everything is. You find a lot of times the doors get built up with grease over the years. We'll check the functionality of everything on the stove. Make sure all of the burners light, and make sure that the inside of the oven cuts on. We'll take a look at the inside of the oven condition. This one's a bit dirty. So we can see here that one of these burners is not lighting, so something to think about. We'll check the fridge, make sure that it's cooling. We'll make sure that all the components, shelf bars, are all in place. We'll run the dishwashers through a full cycle to make sure that they're sounding good, working good, and not leaking. We'll test the sink functionality and the sprayer to make sure that it's working good. You can see in this case, when I push the sprayer handle, it doesn't work. We'll look underneath, make sure that there's the plumbing looks to be in good order and that there's no leaks. You can see here there's some old wiring that just has some wire nuts on it. That should be terminated inside of an electrical box for safety. And then generally in this kitchen, you can see that the flooring is carpet, which is unusual in a kitchen. This might be something you would consider replacing prior to leasing.
All right, we're looking at the main living space here. Something to keep in mind as you're analyzing a potential investment property is what's the appeal of the layout of the home. This property, I don't know if you're getting a good sense of it from the video, but it has an odd layout. You know, it's got this huge open area here, the kitchen is open, a sort of a non-functional dining room, and then an open stairwell down to the basement, which we're gonna check out. So I can tell you as a property manager, when a prospective tenant walks through the front door, they're gonna say, this is a weird house, this is a weird layout. So something to be aware of. So I think Adam has a few things to say in terms of issues we've identified in the main living area here.
So this flooring is laminate flooring. Very easy to install, but if it gets any moisture in it, you can see what happens. The edges of the laminate will fray, and you'll get lift up, and you can see sort of the paper backing. This is very common. This is how laminate floors die. If you look in the fireplace, you can see that the back brick wall, it might be hard to see in the video, but the back brick wall is actually falling inwards. It's sort of caving in. So that's something that will definitely need to be fixed or dealt with. And lastly, when you walk in the front door, you can see on the ceiling, there's a lot of paint damage from what appears to be either bad painting jobs or potentially a roof leak in the past. This is something to think about, taking a look in the attic to see about past roof leak issues.
All right, we're gonna head down to the basement now. The stairs are extremely steep, which is definitely something that prospective tenants are gonna complain about. Some of them will find it too objectionable due to health issues or other safety concerns with children. So the basement is where it starts to get fun. You get a good look at the mechanicals of the home. So you can see here we've got furnace, hot water tank, the water meter's over here. Got some windows. The plumbing and other components are well exposed down here, which is nice. As a potential investor, when you see a finished basement, it's hard to get a real sense of what's happening with the home. So what are we looking at down here, Adam? Anything to note?
Yeah, so it looks like we have 6 basement windows, and you can see somebody's put spray foam around the edges of all of them. So clearly they're not sealing very well. These old big glass panes are clearly oftentimes a security issue. So we would recommend having these replaced with a glass block type window.
Here in Columbus, glass block is a common solution for basement windows. This is very typical in Columbus. There's tons of glass block installers that are very affordable. They'll come in, do all the basement windows in a home and install an attractive, safe, and secure glass block, which provides privacy and security while also allowing light. You can even get them with vents installed.
This electrical panel here is pretty new. Some of the older panels that you might find in Columbus are the Breakomatic, Push-O-Matic breakers, and then some homes use the Pacific breakers. But these are in pretty good shape. I would wonder why there's a screw here in this main disconnect breaker. Something to have an electrician take a look at. If you look on the floor, you can see water is coming in from the corner here, and this is typical throughout this basement. There's several puddles on the floor. These water intrusion issues into the basement wall are extremely difficult to solve without a lot of money. What we're looking at here is a utility sink and a washer and dryer. We always recommend not providing washers and dryers to prospective residents. In Columbus, the market is typical for residents to provide their own washer and dryer. You'll want to check that the hookups for the washer and dryer are in good shape. The washer hoses and drain piping. You want to check that the electrical for the dryer has a good secure outlet, and that the dryer vent is properly vented to the outside.
Yeah, a couple other things to keep in mind here. A washing machine needs a drain that's above grade. In other words, you can't just dump the washing machine straight into the floor drain. Code says you need to come up above the level of the machine itself, as they've done here. Also, we appear to be looking at a SharkBite connector here. Is that right, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, SharkBite connectors in general, they're good for a quick fix if you just need to get something done on a weekend. They really shouldn't be used as part of a permanent plumbing solution. They have various failure modes which are unpleasant. Over here on the other side of the washer and dryer, we've got a loose electrical connector. Definitely unsafe and potential liability issue.
And we've got an electrical box here. Looks like an old sub-panel breaker box that's open. So if you stuck your fingers in there, possibility of electrocution. So we'll take a quick glance at this furnace and hot water tank. So the hot water tank is wrapped with insulation. So without taking the insulation off, you can't gauge how old the tank is. And then the furnace here is a relatively new furnace, common brand, Lennox. The nice thing about this furnace, something that you would keep an eye out, is that this one has a filter housing, so it's easy for the tenants to change the filters as needed.
Some furnaces don't have a housing for the filter. They either didn't have a filter ever, or occasionally they're behind panels or otherwise hidden. Sometimes they're upstairs in the return air vent. This happens to be a gas furnace. You can tell by the gas service line here. Same thing with the hot water tank. Hot water's got a gas service line here. Gas service lines are this darker metal, usually black or just a dark faded color, as opposed to water, which is typically like a coppery color because they're made out of copper.
And down here we have the main water meter, and to the right of the main water meter, you can see the shutoff valve. And the shutoff valve is really old, so in the event that you needed to use it in an emergency, it's questionable whether it would work. So testing this and or having it replaced prior to having an issue is probably smart. The other thing you can see here is that the piping supporting the water meter is not supported. So this is really unsafe. If somebody were accidentally step on this pipe, it could break one of these fittings, and you could have full city water pressure filling your basement.
So what we're looking at here is the main stack, which is the sewer, essentially the drain pipe for the sewer system in the home that here in Columbus connects up with the main city sewer service line. And there's actually a, this goes under the concrete and then out to the alley. There's a line underground. Adam, you want to talk a little bit about the history of those line constructions here in Columbus and what to look for?
Yeah, definitely. The one thing to note is that here we have a clean out opening. You just unscrew this cap, and plumbers can use this opening to clean out the sewer line all the way to the city main. Back in many years ago, main sewer lines underground were constructed with clay pipe, and clay pipe came in about 4-foot sections. So the clay pipe over time, if you get roots in them, the roots can crack the clay pipe and then the clay pipe can collapse. You can have the joints of the clay pipe come apart and shift on you. And then later they started using galvanized pipe for main sewer lines. And with galvanized pipe over time, they corrode and you no longer have a pipe. In modern day, they use plastic piping, and this is typically what you'll see replacements done with.
Back over here at the water line, the water service line, which goes out to the main road, is also an area of concern for a few reasons. You can run into freezing, and they can also become clogged over time with enough deposits.
Yeah, so one thing we would recommend before you purchase a property is to have the flow through the main water line checked by a plumber. They can do a flow test. And then also to have the main sewer line cameraed with camera equipment that they run through the entire line, and they can check the condition of the pipe and also tell you what kind of material is used for the pipe.